this might be different for both of you, but what would you say is the biggest obstacle that you've come across while making this movie? Like
individually or
maybe like individually, since you both have different aspects of the movie. What would you say personally was your biggest obstacle that you had to overcome?
Dealing with overbearing actors. I won't name any names, but they know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Mine would probably be just the sheer fact that as far as technically, I've never shot something as large as this. Like, this is the biggest thing I've ever shot. I shot several short television shows while I was in college, like just student-produced television shows, and several short films that were like 10, 15 minutes. So doing a feature-length film, I mean, as of right now, we have almost 25 hours of just raw footage.
Excuse me.
So you think about that, you think of, we're usually on set an hour to two before setting up and at least an hour afterwards, and sometimes shooting takes 5-6 hours.
Yeah, anywhere from 3 to 8 hours.
Yeah, and you're working 10, 12 hours, and it just as far as technically, it was just how much work it actually was going to be to dress the sets, to light it, to shoot it from the varying angles that we had to shoot it from because we only have one camera.
Yeah.
As far as me and Scott working together, it was never really a problem. We
have a pretty good rapport for the most part between the two of us.
That's actually one of my other questions is being friends and then working together, since you guys are kind of check and balance. Did that work out all right?
It seems to work out fine.
Yeah.
I think that when we were in pre-production for the film, we storyboarded the whole film.
Everything.
Which means the film from the first page on the script to the very last page is drawn out on these giant boards, scene for scene, the actions that the actors are going to go through, the different angles of shots, and we did that in probably over about a 6-week period.
Yeah.
We laid out the whole film. And so as far as visually, when we got into it, since Scott's directing it, he's directing the actors, and I'm running the camera and trying to make sure the audio and everything's good. We already kind of had an idea.
Right. You kind of have to give the director of photography on something like this a carte blanche as far as the visuals go, controlling the visuals, including a lot of the blocking, because he has to shoot it. I mean, no matter how much I tell them what to do, he's the one that's actually physically got to shoot it and guide them through it so that it looks good. So I'm cool with that. I don't feel like I'm giving anything up in that department. And then I'm supposed to make them play their characters the right way. Perform.
Yeah. And as far as visually goes, I think that I'm just glad that we were always on the same page, and I think that visually showing the story and then the manner in which you want it shot was my job, and we've done pretty good. So
yeah, it's been pretty successful.
So what's helped you, gentlemen, through the process of making the film? What's made it easier? What's helped you along?
Well, we've had a lot of help from a lot of different people.
Yeah, a lot of people have been really helpful.
Terry Daly, who is the set designer, and he's also the prop master and in charge of wardrobe. He's done awesome. Some of our kitchen set.
Yeah, all the sets. He's dressed all the sets, and they look really cool.
They look killer.
Tom Horton, who, like we said, who plays Nathan. He's the sound editor. He's the assistant director. He's the script coordinator.
He's done an awesome job. He's just always been there.
Austin Reed's
always
who
been
also
around
plays
too.
Harlow, and he's lent us his car and driven all over the place.
And been there. He did the fight choreograph.
He did.
For the scene.
He choreographed a fight scene.
A fight scene. Chris Salomone, who's my younger brother, who's actually running the camera right now for this interview.
A lot of lighting stuff, too.
Did a lot of lighting stuff.
And he's got 2 really small roles in the movie.
Yeah, he does have a couple roles in
and
the
a death scene.
And a death scene. So he's also done a lot of the music, all the music on the trailer, which is online, like we said earlier, was done by him. And I think we're going to use a bunch of his other music too for other parts of the film. So we have had a lot of help. My parents have helped us.
I was going to say, you probably had to mention all the people who
my parents and my grandma
funded the film.
Who pretty much funded the film. My dad, when I graduated, bought me the camera as a graduation gift that we are shooting the film on.
And that we're shooting on now.
And that we're shooting on right now. And my grandmother is a family member who has loaned a large portion of the actual budget to me and is allowing me to pay it back without interest. So that's always awesome, because if I had, being that I'm young and that I have only owned this company for less than 6 months, it's
a lot of money.
It's a huge interest rate that they would drop on me, something crazy, probably like 26 or 28% to get that much money in a loan. So, plus I don't have anything to borrow against.
Right, without collateral.
So,
now, what are your plans for post-production? Do you plan on doing film festivals, or like what are your plans for after the movie's all done?
Well, we're going to duplicate it, package it, and then based on what festival rules are, I don't know if you can sell your movie before it's been in a film festival or not. I don't know what that is exactly. Hit up what film festivals might be interested in looking at it, which might be lower end because of the budget, but maybe not. I don't know. Direct market distribution through the internet. Maybe do some screenings around Kansas City, like theatrical screenings.
Yeah, we've always planned on possibly doing a screening at the Tivoli downtown. Maybe a couple other smaller screenings at different locations around the Kansas City area. I definitely want to take it to a minimal of at least 3. I'd like to take it to as many as like 5 or 6 film festivals and enter it. Of course, you need more money to do that. We're almost completely done with shooting. We're very, very close right now. In fact, I would even say that 90% of the movie is shot.
Yeah, we have like 3 to 4 days of shooting. Most of the stuff that's left is little scenes.
So we've already actually entered into post-production, which is we have started editing the film, and scenes 1 through 8 of the film right now are a very rough cut.
Yeah.
No audio editing, no sound effects, but a very
no mixing.
As far as the straight, no sound mixing. As far as the straight visual parts of it, so I want to take personally. I would give myself, because I'm cutting it 6 months after we are completely wrapped shooting, which will be in a couple weeks. 6 months to completely edit it, and then get a final cut onto a DVD.
Yeah.
Get it to a distribution company, however we decide to do that, and then take it to film festivals and see how it does.
Yeah,
so.
you can probably have it replicated at a mass replicator type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for the both of you.
Yeah.
I have individual questions, but that was all I had for that. So
Cool.
okay with you, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Whoever wants to go first.
Go for it, man.
All right.
All right. Okay, so you don't have to go way far back, but how did you get interested in films and what you're doing now? Like, how did you first get interested in it?
Well, I think that, when I was a kid, I always liked the idea of filmmaking, and I was a kind of a comic book guru. I collected a lot of comic books when I was a kid. Not so much when I got older. It was more when I was real young, like around the age like 8, 9, 10. But I played a lot of, when I was older, like between the ages like 10 to probably 18 or 19, I played a lot of fantasy games. So it was kind of a concept of creating something out of paper visually in your mind, and then that kind of plays into film with creating something that is, starts out on paper, and then you create a visual story of it. I started getting more and more interested in films when I went to college and took a lot of classes on I took a class called Ethnographic Film Study once. That was a study of films from around the world, and it kind of got me interested in how the different looks of films, actors, directors, things of that nature. So when I was probably a junior or senior in college, I kind of decided to myself, I was like, man, I want to make a movie. And I ended up through a guy, Terry Daly, who knew Scott, left Scott's screenplay in my locker one day at work, which was actually titled Green River at the time. The title changed. And I read it, and we met a couple times, and we talked about it, and finally we kind of fell into it. But while I was in college, I did a lot of video production. I was a broadcasting major, which is really broad, but you can kind of pick and choose whether you want to be in like TV production or radio production, and I only took the minimal requirements, what I needed to graduate as far as radio production side. I did very little with sound, and I was all in the TV studio. I was the executive producer of 2 different short student short films, the executive producer on 2 different TV shows. I was the creative director for the TV station as well as the program director, so I was in charge of the actual visual content of KNWT Channel 8 is the station. It's a local broadcast channel that only broadcasts in Maryville, which is where I went to school at Northwest. So yeah, I think probably my junior or senior year of college I decided I wanted to make a movie.